All right, so a few things have happened. One, moved to North Carolina. Two, I've taken off the old hood. And three, I gave up on the idea of being able to use a 1990 hood. Don't even think those were 1990 parts, but fortunately I was able to get that. And that is a 93 hood in pretty darn good condition. No cracks or anything like that. The guy was a part reseller, so he actually had this wrapped when I went to come pick it up. So did really good on finding a nice new hood for it. Everything's there. Now, man, that thing was really, really clean. I've used this ratchet strap thing on the garage to get this off. So I'm thinking I am going to still be able to use this bumper. We'll see. I'm probably going to get some polyurethane fill to fix this crack. It's not even a crack. It's really like I don't know. But, yep, probably be able to fix that pretty easily. There's a little bit of damage under there, but I think it could be fixed. We'll see. All right. Here we go. Alrighty, so day 2 so far of, I'll just go ahead and put this somewhere. So, day 2 of piecing together this Corvette. So, last left off, was doing all this here. If I could do it all again, I would have just bought the 92 to 96 parts, just because the whole thing we discussed. So anyways, I'm reusing these. I don't really care what the inside strip looks. Also, the guy's going to run vinyl over it, so not too worried. Going to go ahead and probably drill a new hole to get that body line in, but so far, I pretty much lined up all the body. I did fix this with an epoxy, which is holding great. And there's a little piece that chipped off here, so there's also epoxy in there, and it's drying right now. Had good results there, so should work at the top as well. For this section, I'm still kind of debating on what to do because it goes off to the paint shop tomorrow, be prepped and painted. I might just leave this until I am done with the paint because I just don't have time to decide, but more than likely, for the time being, I'll just kind of graft in a section with some clippers and then probably pop rivet it in just because I have that 90 front, but it really isn't the same. It's actually shorter, so it wouldn't actually work down here. So that's one challenge I'm going to have to overcome. All depends how much this bothers me. So anyways, what I'm doing right now is just getting everything taken apart and prepped. So I have a ton of headlights. Actually going to just keep this one off and have them paint that one right there because then I just have a spare headlight. So, yep, getting everything taken off is pretty easy. Went ahead and debadged it. So that was no more than glue and, well, tape actually. So this is kind of the, well, this is the old hood. I'll pull a couple parts off here and there. There's some nice light bulbs that I put in here, LEDs. So I'll swap those out. But otherwise, this hood, direct fit off a 93, which is great. And actually, its headlight motors work a lot better than mine did. So I'll be using those ones. And then I'll have a couple spare headlight motors sitting around that I can rebuild in the meantime and just either hold on to them or sell them. But big things I learned so far. I'm going to go ahead and drop the hood just because, this hood is So I'm not crazy right now about the way the body lined up, just because I know that the body shop is going to more than likely take the hood off. I've talked to them about maybe not doing that, but we'll see. So up here was honestly the trickiest part, was trying to get this gap to pretty much be the same across, which I think I've done a pretty darn good job of considering the circumstances. But yeah, so get your hood centered, I would say, is the first step, right? Getting the hood on line, centered, because actually a lot of your adjustment is in these lower body panels, right? There's a lot of adjustment up here, but all you can really do is push it back and center it. So, you know, using these bolts, you can kind of line it up, but where it sits is kind of where it sits. This I'm not crazy about, but who knows, maybe I'll like it better. There's actually some adjustment under here that I can do to make it better. So I'll probably end up having it sit like that, because that's about the best I can do. I know it doesn't look great, but it technically, aside from this, it is kind of even. So, biggest thing is just making sure that the doors can open without hitting. That's a huge thing. So as you'll see, this gap's probably a little bit shorter, and it just barely doesn't skim the inside of the door. So that's not ideal, but again, that can just be a hood adjustment thing that I do later. So then down here, just getting these panels to line up, be flush. It's pretty flush. You can come in here, move these guys out, move this guy out, get the adjustment you're looking for. I have no idea why there's a divot there, but there is. Yeah. So all in all, this side was, pretty much perfectly lined up. So that is pretty much it for piecing this thing back together. Yeah. Oh, that light's unplugged. No wonder. So yeah, when you're taking these off, I go ahead and put them on, and then go ahead and you can remove the screws a lot easier that way, and then you'll be able to get everything off. So, all right, so got all the headlights out. Boom, prep panels. Pulled that guy out too. That's just going to be little Torxes up in the front. They bolt in right there and there. All right, so she is pretty much all ready to go. Just gotta take her to the paint shop tomorrow. I'm probably gonna get this underside done and see if I can't get a cool something painted in there. That's kind of the plan. Hopefully like a bald eagle or something, America. All right, so that is pretty much everything. Still just kind of waiting on this thing to dry over here. But yeah, this line is good now. There is a little bit of shimming that had to occur, but I'm gonna let the body guy take a look at that and see what he thinks. I think it's good enough, because that whole corner is gonna have to be like sanded and reshaped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the only thing that really broke was, again, this, which is now back together, and then I kind of etched out a little bit extra space for me to be able to pull this in, just because things got kind of misaligned here. So hopefully that all buffs out, but I'm thinking that that's going to be good enough. Once paint sets in on it, everything's pretty solid there. So yeah, but you can see I put a block in there and kind of shimmed it. I don't really give a fuck. Sorry, I don't really care, but you know, let the professionals take a look at it. So we got a crack right there too, but again, hoping that that helps with everything. Other than that, it's really the only damage that was done. Besides, of course, the giant hood being destroyed, but good with that, so. So one thing to add, just my technique, but when I went to go line up this hood, besides opening it and closing it about 50 times, because, you know, it's easier to make all your adjustments when the hood, well, first off, it's easier to make all your adjustments when the headlights are out, right? Because you have access to all these bolts in here, most of which are the ones that you need to adjust. So I kind of just get them loosened up and then close the hood. You have a pole conveniently located somewhere. Ratchet straps are going to be your best friend because you can just slowly ratchet it in, kind of get it lined up, tighten it, open it up, close it, see what it looks like, and keep doing that. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. That's just all I had to really work with was ratchet straps. So, trying to think here. Besides centering that hood up, that's definitely the first place to start, is make sure that it is in the center, right? Those guys, these and these, that's gonna be kind of how you center it, and the only way you can do that is going to be opening and closing it repeatedly until it goes into place. If you're careful opening the hood, it should kind of just stay in the right spot, because right, we have these hood hinges or pins right here, and you can make adjustments here, and I probably will end up doing that at some point, just because that should help push things forward a little bit. But I would just recommend probably loosen up these and loosen up the one that's back there that you should know about. So these and there. And then you can kind of just tighten these guys as you move the hood around in a position that you like. So right, get that centered, and then start going forward and back. Like I was talking about with the your doors, just be mindful of your doors because it's really easy to mess them up. So I would err on the side of caution and start with your hood forward, right? Because you are kind of able to, again, not saying that this is right, but you are able to kind of adjust these right in here to actually move forward the bumper panel. So I would recommend going shorter with your gap up here versus over here, because it's just going to save your paint. Now, of course, I don't really care because this thing's getting painted, so it can take a little bit of abuse right now, but I'm still trying to be kind of nice to it. So those are all the things that I can really talk about in detail, because never done this before, but learn from my failures. So next time I hit you up will probably be when she's all painted. So yeah, I will take pictures, tell you what worked out well and what didn't work at all. Like, comment, and subscribe.